You've seen them hundreds of times, but I bet you didn't know why certain companies use these things in their mobile apps. We'll talk about it today, and that's micro interactions. So if that's your jam like it is mine, join the fun, and I'll go through a few examples to help you understand why there's value in adding them to your product. Stay tuned for more. All right, so micro interactions. Most people hear this, and it's not the same as microaggressions. Yeah, that's a different topic. But micro interactions has everything to do with your product. And these can be done in a lot of different ways. When we talk about UX and product design, we speak along the lines of the experience a user has. And these are no different. They just enhance that experience in a way or two. Now, looking at it from that lens, from a user's perspective lens, micro interactions, or delighters, or what we call them, are very, very keen to building brand, to providing feedback for a user, and communicating things overall. When you see things that pop up and they surface as far as like system statuses, these are messages or different alerts that let you know something is happening within the system. Similarly, you have a few that communicate errors. Even when a user is adding things to an input field, they might not be adding the right information or the right metadata. You might get an alert that says, hey, this is a form field that adds text, not numbers. And so those are different error messages and statuses that will let users know that they're doing something incorrectly and to fix it. That's one bit of a micro interaction, but that's also an interactive design element. It's also a good way to support error prevention, meaning to help users not commit to the error because I'm providing feedback or things to help inform what to do versus what not to do. There are some micro interactions that communicate things specific to a brand. Android users versus Apple users. Many times the design patterns are different, but also how they function and some of the interactivity may be slightly different. That's how you know you're communicating or working with one brand versus another. McDonald's has the golden arches, whereas Burger King, the crown. But these things are symbolic and unique to each brand. So when you see them and you identify them, you are able to understand that that is focused on one brand and not relative to the other. Now, there's three things holistically you need to be aware of when we're talking about micro interactions. And one is how they're surfaced. It can be done via a trigger. Think of it as a cause and effect. A user's action can become the trigger to an interaction that happens. There also can be a way where there's single purpose, meaning this action or this interaction happens once. It happens based on an action being taken and it doesn't surface again, or it could be something to give feedback based on what is happening within the system. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a repeated action or a repeated function for it to occur. And then the third way is just to make an already existing experience a bit more engaging, to elevate that experience. In the product design space, we like to call those delighters. So something that gives you a bit more of pizzazz, if you will, to an experience and highlights that function. So those are three ways you can see micro interactions happening within any experience digitally. Now let's jump into a few examples so that you can get a really good sense of what I'm referring to, and I can show some references related to it. I'm just going to jump right into my mobile device and I'm going to show you a reference to that. Currently, I'm on the GoPro site looking to pick up a new GoPro. This will add to me documenting a few things later on. In this site, you'll see that they are promoting this camera is the 13. All right, you can scroll through, you get your metadata, you'll also get the cost, you'll get accessories, you get all the things that you normally would see on any retail or online site. But one thing to notice, if I pull down with my thumb, you'll see this icon surface at the top. That's reloading. So this is a pull to refresh function, and it basically reloads the page. So that right there is a micro interaction to show you that, hey, if things get lost in translation, if the page freezes or there's some kind of intermittent issue, you can pull down to refresh. Instead of doing it in the browser or doing it in a different way, this is already tied to the pattern you have of scrolling with a single digit. This is one to make note of. So really simple, really easy to follow, but one that is valuable. Now, let's switch gears here. We'll jump right into my computer. I'll show you the next one. So in this example, we're going to use the popular app Dropbox. This is one of my favorite ones. I store a lot of things there, reference either my teleprompter, different documents, design files, and more. And as you look on this particular app, you'll see they have the folders in the side panel, and then they have the main workspace. So what I want to show you is when dragging and dropping or moving things from one location to the next, you'll see to the right this little delighter that happens. You're going to see this fun kind of whimsical balloon that shows you, hey, success is happening. And that right there is unique to Dropbox. So it's part of their brand, but it gives feedback that says, hey, you did a wonderful job, and let's celebrate that. So giving celebratory interactions are really, really good for the user. It makes me want to come back, use it again, and have some playful fun with it. So those are delighters that you can add to your product. So since we're on the desktop, I'm going to jump into my computer and look at one that is popularized. It's very subtle, but it's celebratory as well. So we're going to dive into Outlook. Now, some of this stuff I can't show you just due to confidentiality, but here's what I want to display. In this moment, I'm actually going to click from this page. I'm going to click on one word, and I'm going to show you what happens here. As you can see, there are a few things highlighted. Once I hover over them, I get this celebratory response just from hover states. Now, that's actually really cool. A lot of things get bolded, get underlined, but having that type of text and that response in the code allows me to say, hey, sometimes when there's congratulations or happy birthday or anything that I can make note of, this system is designed to respond in that way. Now, this is unique to Outlook itself, so I love the direction in which the brand is going, but as you can see, these things enhance the experience. I'm already viewing this in my email client, and I'm already scanning through that information. So this is just that little icing on the cake, or the little sprinkles that add joy into a celebratory experience. And for a bonus, we'll do one last one for one of my favorite apps, which is Duolingo. Now, in this particular app, you're going to see a lot of things happening. Now, I actually like them for their gamification model and how they've actually been using it. You'll see a few things happening I haven't been on in a while. As you can see, there's a super cool animation that surfaces. They're using this owl to enhance their experience and stay on brand. Instead of the app simply throwing up a welcome back message, it chose to give me a full animation of this illustration and more. But now it's trying to get me engaged or back engaged into it. And as you can see, more illustrations, more animations, all of these things are super helpful. Now I love kind of how they proceed and continue with that throughout the experience. And one thing it doesn't let me do is kind of move through because it wants you to do that. So, and here you can see as we scroll through just the experience, it'll show you where I was and kind of the things related to it. But you see these little motions and animations as you scroll through the timeline of it. Each character has their own animation, their own style, their own kind of flow to it. And it enhances the journey as you move through it. I love those little animations and characters. They give emotion, they give feeling, they give all the things you would want in trying to experience something different. So there you have it. I'm gonna put this thing away, but I just wanted to show you some of the things that enhance the experience using micro interactions and delighters. Now, if you chose to put those in your particular product, you can do that in a way that feels on brand and unique to your services, because that is the differentiator. How you stand out to most will be unique to you, and no one is doing exactly what you're doing. So with that being said, if you want to learn more, click that link. I have a free resource, especially from a gamification standpoint, but some of these things will be tied to how delighters and how interactions work within your product. All right. So that's all we have today. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and click that link and get subscribed. Join the fun here. And as always, your life has color, so make sure to design it that way. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. I'm getting calls coming in, spam likely coming in. There's just a lot of things happening, but we're going to get through this. All right. Simple, quick, and let's roll.